All right, well, in this video, I am going to walk you through how to fill out this budget and requisition assignment. It is the last major assignment for this course, and you can find it here on Canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And as the assignment pulls up, you'll see that it has, first of all, a description of what this assignment entails. It has some basic questions that might pop up as you head into this assignment. And then it guides you through step-by-step instructions with how to go about finishing this assignment. And I've even included pictures along the way. But for this video, I'm going to go through everything. That way, when it comes time for you to go ahead and turn in this assignment, you will have a better feel for what's expected of you. Okay, so what this assignment is you are going to be thinking about your 2-year curriculum that you filled out and thinking about what supplies are needed in order to fulfill that 2-year curriculum. And as you reflect on that 2-year curriculum, you are actually going to be filling out this purchase order that's located on this Word doc template right here. And this purchase order is going to include all of the supplies you need for that 2-year curriculum for a classroom size of 24 students. So you're going to pretend that you have 24 students in those first 2 semesters of Art 1 and all of the assignments that you had for that. And then you're going to pretend you have 24 students for that upper level coursework for those two semesters. For example, painting 1 and painting 2. So you're just going to follow those 24 students. Now, this purchase order is not going to include furniture or equipment or storage or, if you still life objects, computer, like those types of big non-consumable items. We're going to pretend you step into a classroom and it has some of those things in place, but what items would you be needing to purchase that are more consumable types of items, things like paper, paintbrushes, paint, pencils, and things like that. And so the reason that I'm having you do this, and I realize it's going to take a good amount of time, but the reason I'm having you do this is because as an art teacher, you are going to be making these decisions when it comes to purchasing items. One of the major things influencing your curriculum decisions is your budget that you have from a school. And so you're going to usually be the one in charge of researching which items to purchase, knowing how much things cost, and eventually kind of filling out a purchase order. Now, all of this is a huge undertaking, and by going through this exercise, by going through this assignment for not necessarily 5 classes, which is what you would typically have, or 5 or 6 classes a semester, but by going through this for just that 24 student class over 2 years, this will give you a general idea of what's expected for the course or for a budget. And so now I'm not giving you a specific official budget for this assignment because I don't know what exactly you might need to purchase. But that being said, try to be as economical as you can. There may be certain items that you as an artist you prefer, and so that might guide some of your decision making. But when trying to choose between products, I would recommend that you try to go with a little bit more of the economical options because it's very likely that you'll be working with a limited budget. And so if you want this document to be more helpful in the future, I think it's better to lean on the side of choosing more of the student grade versus the professional grade of artist supplies, or looking for any kind of maybe the Dick Blick brands over the expensive name brands. And so keep that in mind as you fill this out. Also, I would say that even though you're trying to be more economical, still order every item you need. Okay, don't skimp on ordering or listing masonite panels if that's what you want to purchase, thinking in your head, well, I could just cut those in my garage. Try to be more realistic and still order everything you need. That way you have a document that at least is kind of captures what items would cost. That way you can go into a teaching situation knowing how much things cost. Okay, so to start off, you are going to open up a few documents. First of all, you're going to open up this Word doc template. So I'm going to open that up right here. And this is what you're going to be filling out, okay? So you want to enable editing, and you'll eventually want to save this onto your computer. Okay, now you can see that here on the top, here at the front, I've got the different major semester projects actually catered to what you've filled out before. So when you start this assignment, step one is to just take this list of these major projects that you have for each semester, and then just off the top of your head, go through and think what objects or sorry, which supplies would be needed for that. And so you might start off by just thinking, well, I know I need drawing pencils for every student. And so maybe think which kind of range of drawing pencils you would need. Personally, I like, a range of 2H, 2B, 6B. Oops. Um, and typically I just get, maybe an HB from just your regular pencils that they sell at the store. And then you might think, okay, well, what kind of paper? All right, well, for this still life paper or for this still life assignment, I would want them to work around on a sheet of maybe 11 by 14. Now, I mention a size like 11 by 14 because that is the standard size. And as an art teacher, one thing that I always have to have in the back of my mind is exhibition and art show. And if I were to mat some of these works for my students, typically, or if I were to frame some of these canvases, typically art teachers are not going to be framing works, but the students might, And so I always tend to work with sizes that are a little bit more standardized. And that is really just to allow for exhibition opportunities in the future for the students. And so it just becomes something that I do. And so to help with that, I've actually listed all of the standardized frames and mat sizes down below. This is just a recommendation that I would give to you, but you are not required to stick within the limitations of standard sizes. But I'm just saying, giving you an example, if you were to, you would say, I would need that drawing paper for that. And just go through each assignment and maybe make some decisions as far as the scale and what items would be included. I would need erasers. I would need rulers for every student. So go through all of these and you can just keep making this list longer and longer and longer as you go through all of these kind of semester week by week as you kind of tally up and figure out what would be needed. And then do the same thing for this. So I would need, I'm thinking an 8 by 10 canvas for that assignment. Maybe for that one, we would go, larger, maybe 11 by 14 canvas. And then for their final assignment, 16 by 20 canvas. And so and then we would need paint brushes. You don't have to be super specific with right here as you're brainstorming. You can get more specific as you start looking at supplies. So this is to tally up all of the supplies that you can just think off the cuff as you go through this. All right, so you do that, and then the next step would be to come up with a master list. And what I have included, and I'm going to go back to this main assignment here, because right now we've just finished step one, where you made a list of the supplies needed from your two-year curriculum projects. But step two is to incorporate items from my ultimate supply list. And so you can click on this Word document here and go ahead and open up this Word document as you are filling out your budget. And I'm going to enable editing, and you can see that I've got this 2-page assignment list of supplies. And so what I would recommend is after you've already gone and you've kind of found some items that you think you would need, go through then this list and copy and paste any items. So right now I'm highlighting this, I'm clicking Control C, and then I'm moving it to this master list, okay? And so I would just toggle back and forth between this, and you actually can go ahead and have them both up. That way it makes it easier to go back and forth. And anything that you think, oh yeah, that would be good. Let me go through this. Oh yeah, I forgot about the fine line permanent markers that would be needed for that assignment. So just go through this, and this will help you when you're making decisions for what supplies are needed. So again, just think, even if you're not sure, just go ahead and add it to your master list, because I can't imagine a high school drawing curriculum without, let's say, charcoal, so if this is something that maybe necessarily didn't come up on your semester list, it might be something that you're reminded of as you fill this out. So I'll just go ahead and, select charcoal pencils, okay? So I'm going to put that over here. All right, so once you're done kind of going through all of these different things, you go through the painting. Okay, I'm going to need brushes, and you make this huge master list. What you would do is then you go back and you pull in any of these supplies and you add it to this list if it's not already represented above. Okay, and so what we're working towards is having this master list that includes all of the supplies that you can think of that are needed for this 2-year curriculum. And once you compile this master list, then go through it and see if you need to add any other items to it, okay? So you're brainstorming, you're going through, and once you feel like you've got this master list, now I say optional because, really for your grade, you just need this final list. But I have this here because I find it's a lot easier to kind of edit and remove things and add things while it's here in this state than trying to remove and add and delete things once you get it on this final list. So I would highly recommend having this master list. And I even find that it's easier to do on the computer since you can kind of copy and paste things from all of your digital lists versus having them scrawled out on a piece of paper. So this would be my recommendation. Now, once you finish your master list and you have all of the supplies that you can even possibly think that you might need for this 2-year curriculum, then go ahead and begin to figure out the specifics. So in a real world situation, you would actually purchase these items from sites like dickblick.com. And actually that's the one that I would recommend. And so here on step, where are we? Step 4. This is the time where you select which supplies you would like. And so go ahead and have dickblick.com, and I'm going to actually pull this to the side so that I can have on one side my supply list and on the other the website. And so I'm going to, let's say I was looking for charcoal pencils. There's different ways you can go about navigating this site. You actually can see up here on the top, they've got the different media. And so you can go to drawing illustration if you're looking for, let's say, charcoal. You can click on that, all right? And that takes you then to all of these different categories. You can see, okay, they've got charcoal pencils and they've got graphite sticks. And so this puts you in that category. I also want to point out that they also have a search engine. And so you can type in charcoal pencils and just find it directly from typing in the search engine. Now, these things take a while to kind of figure out and get comfortable with. And usually beginner teachers are kind of overwhelmed with all of the decisions that they have to make. Now we're looking at so many different brands and how do we navigate all of that? So this might take some time just going through. I'm just going to click on this kind of generals, charcoal, pencil, and sets. That's something that you typically see. And instead of getting a set, which I find to be sometimes even more expensive because they're giving you certain items that you don't need, sometimes I like to buy things by the individual pencils. So for example, a charcoal pencil. But if you feel like, oh no, all of those I think are needed for the study that we want to do in charcoal, then you would want to order 24 of those kits, okay? But let's say you were just to order, one item. So So let's say you were to order this one charcoal pencil. What you need to do is you need to copy and paste. Okay, I'm just selecting and I'm going to actually pull that over. Once it's time to lay it down, you're going to copy and paste that into this list. All right, and if for some reason this paste in a different format and it's too large, you may just have to fix your paste settings. And so look at your default paste settings and see if pasting from other programs. I like to keep text only. That way it doesn't change or reformat any of this list, because you'll be doing quite a bit of copying and pasting from this Diplex site. Now, when it comes to type, size, and the color, usually that is listed right there. So I'm just Control C and I'm pasting that right there. I'm looking at the unit cost. Now I know that these sites will have these different list price, so just copy whatever it's listed at right now. And I know that the quantity is different, but you don't have to get bogged down too much with the details. Typically, in general, what I've seen with these sites is that their list price is way more than is typically sold, even at art stores. And so usually they like to make you feel like you're getting a bigger deal. So whatever the price is right now, just click that for your cost per unit. And that typically will be what can be expected when purchasing these types of items. And then think, okay, how many of those? Well, I've got 24 students. And so when it comes to this list, you just type in the quantity, 24. Now, I will say this, I have spent a great deal of time already kind of setting up this Word document to where it has these formulas built into this table. And so if you type in the cost per unit and you type in the quantity correctly as this, what you should be able to do is highlight this cost, this 0.00, and right click on, on that number. And if you click update field, that should automatically, I've got it to where the calculations automatically take whatever this cost per unit and times it by the quantity, okay? And so I've actually got this formula that you can see when I click on the layout and the formula. I've got this formula already plugged in to where it automatically does that. And so if you have issues, I've got a link where you can look at that. But as long as you just are ready and you're ready to plug things in from your master list onto here, it should be set up to where it does the math for you. Remember, that's what took me the longest when I was doing this as a student, is adding everything up. And so then you would, maybe look at canvases. So look at, you can type in canvas because you'll be purchasing a lot of that. So think about, stretch canvas. And so they have all different kinds, and usually they have different grades as far as academic, premier, studio, and then you've got your super value. Typically, teachers, if they are even going to allow their students to work on Canvas, which can be pretty expensive, typically we stick with these kind of super value packs. And so you see different prices listed, and so indicate, if this is a package of 7, you might only think, well, if it's a package of 7, then I actually only need to buy, the 4 packs in order to cover my 24 students. And there might be a few left over, and that's okay. And so you copy and paste all of this and you plug everything into this kind of final list, okay? Indicating the size. If it's white canvas, you don't have to indicate that it's white, but specifically the size, and you would definitely want to indicate that this is like a value pack. And a pack of 7 or that kind of thing. So if I were to, okay, let me just give you a quick example. If I were to, purchase that that pack of 7, where was I? Okay, that pack of 7, I'm going to click there. Okay, super, pull that over. So this is what that would look like. And then I just copy and paste that information. And we are looking at 1175. I would need to purchase 4 in order to cover the 24 students, and then I update field. You can also click the F9 button once you highlight it, and that should do it for you. Okay, and so once you've got all of this filled out, and this will take some time because you're going from your master list over to your finalist. But once you do have it all filled out, now I've got about 119 of these blanks. You may not use all of those blanks. I don't know. You may actually need more. It just depends on, you know, how individualized your items are. But once you get down to the to where you've got everything that you've kind of checked off your master list, you can actually go ahead, and I did go ahead and built in a formula to where it should add all of the far right columns up. And so you would just click update field and you can see the total there. And right now it's what it's totaling is are these canvases and the charcoal. And so that's only for that. But hopefully once you go through this whole assignment, you will get a better understanding of one, how much individual items cost. And that might surprise you with how much this stuff really adds up. And two, how much it does cost for, you know, certain curriculum needs and what it would cost to kind of launch the curriculum that you built. And so I hope that this is a very educational experience, and it's just good to at least just go through the steps of looking up items, figuring out which items you need, how much things cost, and going through all of those steps. And so by the time you go through these different things, and you can see here on the assignment, I've got, again, a step-by-step guide as far as how to do all of this for your reference. I've also have what you would do for the last step is to save that document. And I would recommend saving that document frequently as you're filling it out. But then you're going to go ahead and upload that onto this Canvas assignment. I have some common issues that I mentioned earlier that might crop up, and some links as far as how to kind of navigate those issues. But feel free to reach out if you have any questions about the assignment. I hope that this step-by-step video has helped you when thinking about how to approach this assignment. So good luck.